that what you're doing in this process is that you are allowing through the electoral bond process to not inform the shareholder as to how his money is going to be spent. Right? And that's a very serious issue because he is invested in the company not for the purposes of donating to X and Y. Whereas your lordships must assume as a given that capital and influence go hand in hand. In fact, under the very concept of a market economy, capital symbolizes power. And it may be in any sector of the economy, as it is in politics. The more capital you have, the more power you have. This is nothing to do with electoral bonds, if you ask me. It is donation to a political party to use the funds as they like. The nomenclature suggests electoral bonds means this is for the purposes of the election. There is nothing in the scheme. There is nothing in the scheme which connects the donation made to the participation in the electoral process. Nothing. It is a means for political parties to be enriched. Why do I say that? I make a donation of 10 crores to a political party through an electoral bond. The political party opens a current account and 10 crores goes into that account. Now that political party can actually give that money to the mainstream media channel and say, you propagate my ideology. Or give a present to somebody. Or do what you want to do with it.
There are no spending requirements.
None, zero. That's the most serious issue. Because you can spend this money any way you like. You can build your offices. You can build your offices all over the country with that money. You can set up a whole network throughout the country with that money. You can use advertising campaign for whatever you like with that money. Show your face 20 times a day. And see the nexus. The corporate sector gives money to the political party. The political party and the corporate sector owns a media house. Just look at the nexus. The corporate donor owns the media house. The corporate donor gives it to the political party. The political party uses the media house. No questions asked.
Constitutional argument. Going on some
personal
instances.
I'm not talking of any instance. I'm talking about the scheme. Please do not interfere. I'm talking about the scheme. I'm not talking about any instance. That's the law.
But
this is, of course, hopefully it is.
Yeah, of course.
I thought we were sitting before 5 judges. I thought I realized by now it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, thank you. Got to know about it from you.
The Article 14 argument.
Yes. Yes, Millard. The scheme is wholly arbitrary. It has to be struck down on its terms. It has nothing to do only with elections and how you spend your money in the electoral process. Now, let's kindly have a look at volume 4 and PDF 142. These are FAQs, Millard, that were asked where the scheme was from the SBI.
142.
140. Yeah, first I'll show you, Millard. 130. 138, which is a given, Millard. Actually, I need not even mention this. At 138, the question is, what is the minimum and maximum limit for donation? The minimum amount for donation is 1,000. There is no maximum amount.
138, Mr. Sibal.
Question, Millard, at 31.
31.
Yeah. Just note it, Millard. We lots of know, you know about it already.
Yeah, that's good.
Now come to 142. 142, question 6. Can a political party use this current account for other operations also? Answer is yes. Next question is 9. Can political party close this current account after the election? The account can be continued for normal banking operations. However, if required, the account can be closed at any time by the political party.
What are you hinting at, Mr.?
I'm sorry?
What are you hinting at?
Mullah,
This can
you
be misused.
close the account, that's the end of the matter, Mullah.
You get the money, close the account, but
That's it, and then you spend it the way you want. Well, this is not a scheme for, well, I can understand. Well, quite frankly, I can understand the corporate sector being told that we impose a cess like education cess. You impose a cess on the corporate functioning of companies. With that cess, you have capital, and capital you distribute in accordance with the representation in the Lok Sabha. So everybody has the same amount. And the same money can be used for that. What you are doing now is entirely different. You are saying you give me as much money as you want to give me. That Aziz argued, Mullah, that
Your submission is this is not money for electoral participation, but money for
enriching the
political
party.
party,
Yes.
individual party.
It's just enriching the party.
There are no spending requirements, there's no auditing requirement as to how the
No
money is
accountability.
utilized, nothing.
No accountability. Absolutely no accountability.
What's the next point?
The last point, but the fifth point, is that in fact it protects the nature of the scheme protects those who have committed a crime. I'll give you an example. Under the Prevention of Corruption Act, Section 7 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, you give money to a public servant. Members of Parliament are public servants. Many members of the political party who are in the fray are public servants. Now, as your Lordship knows, under Section 7, you can also prosecute a person in anticipation of a favor, not just having granted a favor. So you give a donation, no questions asked, you get a favor, you cannot correlate one with the other, and I can't prosecute you. This is a scheme to protect criminals from being prosecuted. Just read Section 7 with me.
Of the PCI.
Prevention of Corruption Act. This is also true under the PMLA. Because a predicate offense has been committed, it results in proceeds of crime. You'll never get to know. Rather than furthering the rule of law, it stymies it. That's the other Article 14 argument. You'll never know who bribed whom, how much was the bribe for, what quid pro was there. You'll never get to know. That there is quid pro quo, mullahs, is in my first submission. That capital and influence go together. Mullahs, nobody can doubt that proposition, mullahs. So in effect, through this scheme, you are trying to protect those people. Where the source of the money is, my learned friend has argued, I don't want to repeat anything that he has said. And let's see what is the scheme. If it's less than 2,000 rupees, it's cash. If it's more than 20,000 rupees, the name of the donor has to be given. And if it is electoral bonds, nothing. That's the 3 layers of the scheme. Through an amendment of this nature, to allow shareholders' money to be used inconsistent with the memorandum of the association. It's a very serious issue. And without consultation and without the consent of the shareholder. Under which law, and I ask myself this question, can this ever be allowed? The moment you allow the corporate sector to donate, whether with transparency or without transparency, I'll come to that a little later. It is inconsistent with the concept of a corporate sector which is in the business of doing business. You have a memorandum of association which tells you what the objects of the corporation are. The shareholders put in their money to ensure that the corporation functions within the framework of the memorandum of association. Now you give the power through an amendment of this nature to allow shareholders' money to be used inconsistent with the memorandum of the association. It's a very serious issue. And without consultation and without the consent of the shareholder. Under which law, well, then I ask myself this question, can this ever be allowed? The electoral process must be such that it must provide a level playing field to all participants. Fair and free elections or free and fair elections is the basic structure of the Constitution. I buy shares in a company. It may be listed, it may not be listed. Yeah.
That's what Justice Chagla flagged, even in Chief Justice Chagla flagged even in 1958. He said there should be no corporate donation, but we are not really dealing with that.
I'm not on that.
Not really into that area at all, because 293 anyway allowed.
Whereas I'm not on that. I'm on a wide,
On what you said in the latter part of your formulation, without the consultation and the
that's
approval
the
of the
point.
shareholders.
That's the point.
Yes.
That's the point. That's why I said,
Otherwise, the broader philosophical perspective that, look, allowing corporate donations is really permitting some form of quid pro quo.
No, Malad, I'm not on
And
that because my learned friend
we needn't go
has
into
argued
that
that.
broad area here, because in that sense, the moment we accepted 293, our society legitimized
No.
corporate quid pro quo.
Malad, Malad,
But there is an element of quid pro quo the moment you have corporate donations.
exactly, Malad. There's no
But
doubt about it.
therefore, I mean,
That's why,
a large public limited company who makes a donation doesn't give it for charity.
exactly.
Or for, for
That's why I said
perpetrating a
capital
cause of
and
election.
influence are Siamese twins, Malad.
So we shouldn't really in that
I'm
sense
not going there,
take
Malad.
it.
I'm not, that's why I said